Hey, Vlad. All right, so my friend Bobby's coming in, Bobby
So tell me
Ojeda.
about Bobby.
Bobby's not a vegan. I've gone out to dinners with him. He knows how I eat and all
So
that kind
what
of.
would he eat on like baseball party?
Well, I think he would eat burgers and onion rings, so we can make the which
Right.
burger do you think we should make?
Okay, I think we're going to do. Uh, let's do. Let's do spicy black bean
Okay.
with onion rings on the side. Okay.
The onion rings are always a hit, and for me, how about those? Maybe sweet potato
Low
Mexicali.
fries, Mexicali.
Yeah.
All right, got it.
All right, let's do it. All right.
Hope he likes it.
Yeah, I'm sure he will. How can you not? Hey everybody, I'm Eddie Brill. We're here at the Organic Grill doing OG Talk, OG Organic Grill. The owner and my friend Vlad Grinberg, the VG of OG, with a passionate and compassionate meat. Speaking of passionate and compassionate, one of my dear friends decided, okay, I'll take the call and I'll come down and sit with you, despite the fact that I don't eat this kind of food. From the New York Mets, my friend Bobby Ojeda. Glad to have you here today, my friend.
Thank you very much, Eddie. Great to be here.
Yeah.
Thank you.
And Vlad doesn't know anything about baseball.
Perfect.
Oddly enough, so.
So that's going to be educational session.
That's good. And we were talking about it because as of now, while we're taping in the middle to end of October, and the World Series is going on. And it reminded me of when the Mets at '86 were there because Game 2 was yesterday, as far as the taping was concerned. And the Washington Nationals were on the road and won the first two games on the road.
Right.
In '86, the Red Sox came into Shea Stadium and won the first two games on the road.
Mm-hmm.
And so the interesting thing is Game 3 comes up, you go to Boston now, down 2 games, and you have to pitch. So what's your thinking there?
My thinking is, holy shit.
Yeah.
Can I cuss?
Yeah.
Because I just did.
Yeah.
I
You
was
just can't
thinking.
say fuck.
Okay. Oh, good.
Yes, that's like no,
We're good.
no.
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
I was just, that is when, without being dramatic, it is sort of like it is going to be the biggest game of my life.
Right.
And I have to talk myself off of that pressure situation. So I spent so much time convincing myself it's just another game, because it could overwhelm me. And if you fail in that, I'm living in Idaho with Buckner.
Right.
Christianberry, but we won, so I'm still here riding it.
Right. Well, what happens in that game, because you have a day off in between Game 2 and 3. So what's going on your mind on that game?
Well, it was just like, let's make this even worse.
Right.
Let's let you think about it even longer. Because before a game or before a show, or before you open, that's when you're trying to get everything ready and you're nervous and you're kind of planning out your thing. Once you go, we're in it. I'm in it. I'm doing my thing. So once I get on the mound and get the game started, I don't care what we're doing. But it's all that time leading up to it that if you let it, can overwhelm you.
And a lot of people don't know this, or
How did you do it not to overwhelm you?
I'm a really good liar. I'm excellent. And I'm so good at it, I can lie to myself. And I'm like,
And believe it,
really?
right?
Yeah, I'm like, no shit, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it is true. Well,
Well,
not
you're
to my
going
wife.
to Fenway Park to pitch, and that's where you started.
Yeah.
You were a Red Sox.
It was the
rookie.
equivalent, Eddie, I guess, would be like I'm going back home because I loved it there.
Right.
And I'm going to play against my brothers. And I'm going to play with some kids in the neighborhood I don't like.
Right.
And they don't like me. And we all know
Wow.
each other. And we have some grudges. I have great friends, but I also have some guys I can't stand. I have some guys there that I'm like, I hope a brick falls on you. I don't give a shit about you. But you go into that environment and it can drive you, and it did drive me. And I had, like I say, that's, if you want to put it in perspective, it's like you're going back home, you're going to face your brothers and their friends who are nasty people, and we're going to rumble. So it's about as fun as it can get.
Yeah. That's
So
good.
I'm just curious. So obviously it was the biggest game of your career,
Yes.
right? But was it the best performance of yours? What do you think?
Given the circumstance, it was a pretty darn good performance anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But when you factor in the circumstance, the pressure,
Pressure,
the place, the emotion of going back in there. I mean, leading up to the World Series, they're playing Anaheim. I'm thinking,
And they're down 3-1.
I'm thinking, great. I don't have to go back. I wasn't looking forward to playing them guys because of the familiarity and because of what I just told you. I'm going back home, going to face my friends, my enemies, all in one thing. Boston's very hostile. They were very angry fans back then because they hadn't won since forever.
1917.
Yeah, I love that it was 86 years between their flags too, which is
Right.
I can't get away from that number.
Yeah, very true.
so
And
they-
86 means, like, get rid of that burger. It's 86.
Right. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
So there's a whole list of collateral issues I was dealing with. So considering that, it was by far the best
Oh,
performance.
that's very
I've had.
satisfying, huh?
But
Yeah.
also, and I want to talk about the World Series now and baseball now,
Mhm.
but the other part of this whole thing is you just had a series against Houston and a year where you won 108 games. So you have kind of a confidence that you guys are kind of cocky in a sense that you felt you can do anything. Is that true?
Well, yeah. I mean, most guys in their 20s were invincible. You can do anything. We even got locked up naturally.
So in Houston.
In Houston, natural.
Right.
Right.
Who was it? Tuffle, Darling, you, and one other person?
Aguilera.
Aguilera.
Yeah. Tuffle went out with the pitchers, and you shouldn't go out with the pitchers. Don't go with the pitchers.
Right.
And things fell apart, got locked up, and that became a big deal. That added a little fuel to it. That made their fans extra hate us. The series was phenomenal. I did pretty good in that one too.
Yes.
My arm was ready to fall off, so I was just happy to be there.
You started Game 6, that famous.
Yeah, I gave up 3 in the first inning. I was lucky I got out of it. Davey stayed with me, the manager, because he loved me. But I had just had 3 shots in my elbow, secretively, not steroids, but
Cortisone.
well, yeah. And the first inning, I couldn't get loose. I was warming up in the bullpen. I can't get loose. It's like, oh man. So I go out there and cough up 3. I tag some dude out at home to get out of the inning. And then I threw 4 more zeros after that. And then, the rest of history. Then we came back with the drama.
So you had the great attitude. Now, do you watch baseball now?
No.
Do you watch it at all?
I don't. I can't because no one in my family gives a shit. So I'm sitting there watching a game. I'm like, oh, and I'm like,
Right,
So
that's very interesting.
I'm emotionally attached to the
Sure,
game. Yeah, I love it, but I love it so much I can't watch it.
Yeah, because afterwards you coached for the Mets in Brooklyn, I think. Right?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then that, Brooklyn's not that far of a trip.
No.
But it's a lot of young kids, so it must be nice to mentor.
Oh
some
my
young
gosh.
kids.
You enjoyed it, huh?
Well, I loved it because these little guys, I was one of them. I was on that side. I know what they're thinking, and I was coaching with Howard Johnson, a very good friend of mine. And it was like we were the teachers, and these were the students, and we made them do all kind of dumb stuff. We abused them. I mean, we would have been locked up if they knew what we were doing, because we were down there in the outpost in Port St. Lucie, which is Mars. It's like, let's go to Mars and train these kids. And we just had so much fun with them. And then they were all excited to come to New York. Right. And they were all like, oh, New York, the whole thing. On a horrific note, it ended 9/11. We were in the playoffs.
Yes.
And so the season came to a horrible, screeching end. But up until then, it was so much fun. And then I coached a couple more years with them. And coaching's a blast. I really, really enjoy it.
You even coached in Rumson in high school there, right?
I was helping out the local high school. Yeah.
Oh, what a privilege for them, huh?
Well,
you come in just the regular high school.
Yeah, it's right down the street from my house, and I'm like, I want to help out, but I had a ulterior motive. One of my daughters, was coming through the high school. I said, I'll get over here and intimidate a few people. These kids before they start taking my kid out. My daughter, yeah.
My sister.
That was really what motivated me to do it. And then we had some really good guys. I think we won the championship, and it was a lot of fun. And then today, they still come up to me. They're like, "Oh, nice. Hey, coach, how you doing?" Stuff like this.
So you say, you don't watch baseball, you don't care, but you do care.
A lot, too much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
too much. We're going to bring out some food because I know that you've never had this kind of food, and you're going to be shocked at how delicious it is. But while we're bringing out the food for you,
talking about no pressure. Huh?
Yeah, right. There's always pressure.
It's like my World Series now.
Yeah,
you're feeling it. You're feeling it a little bit.
But he's a good relief pitcher when it comes to the food. He brings out the cake at the end.
Beautiful.
It's a lovely moment. But you started working over at SNY, which is the Met station, and you were, again, so like you're telling me that, oh, I don't know about baseball, and I'm not really caring about what's going on nowadays, but you got to talk on camera about what just happened in the games. You were the guy at the end of the game that some people stayed and listened to.
Right, 7.
Right.
7. We had 7 people who would listen.
Yeah, I was one of them.
I have to tell you this now because
And
I don't know if I ever
5
did.
of his friends too, right?
You, and I did pretty good at that job.
Yes.
And I had fun at it.
Guys,
I
this is
loved it.
very, very hot.
Okay.
Please be
Boy, it
careful.
looks
Put your
awesome.
head right on it. It's, yeah. But you were saying this.
You, when I was interviewing for the job, and then when I got the job, I called you and I said, dude, I need a little advice. I don't jack shit about what I'm doing. I know baseball, but I don't know this whole thing with the cameras and all that. And you said something, and I'll never forget it. And this isn't BS. This is true. You said, take ownership of it. Do you remember?
Yeah, I do. I remember it was because I would never watch those shows at the end. The game's over. The Mets lost. I have to go cry in my room.
You want to hear about it?
Yeah.
Here's why they lost.
Yeah, and so, but you were doing it, and it was really fun because I would call you each night and say, hey, you're looking over here, or, look at the camera,
Yeah, you were.
that
Yeah,
kind of
I'm
stuff.
telling you.
It was really fun to be able to, have someone I could talk to and sort of mentor in that kind of
100%.
way.
And when you told me you were working for the Letterman show at the time, and you said to me, and no, I wouldn't think of this. You said, you know what time David gets to the studio? I'm like, 5 o'clock, whatever. You go, he's there at like 8 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like,
It was a
what?
whole day.
Yeah.
Whole day. He said, he makes it look so easy, and he's so good at it because he's so prepared.
Right.
So then on our show, and we would come on at 6 o'clock, I was getting to the studio at noon. I said, and I was part of I had great producers and stuff. And we would put it together, the show together. I was involved in that. And they didn't really see that coming, and it worked out great.
And you had Carlin with you, who was not
Yeah,
George
Carlin.
Carlin.
No,
Not
that would have been
Carlin.
cool.
That would have been fun.
Chris Carlin is
Carlin.
a good man. He's still over at the Fan doing the morning show there. And he
It
was a
makes
big help.
difference. Yeah, it
Yeah,
makes a
he's-
difference to have a buddy there.
Yeah, and I'm horrible to work with because I get like a madman. I'm intense, and I really am. I mean, I'm not
that's what
falling
it's
on my
about.
sword, but
You
But
should
that's
be.
passion coming out of you, right? And,
Yeah.
and desire to make it better than it is now, right?
yeah, you want if you do something. If I do something, I do it. I'm going all in, and it's not always good, but people put up with me. And I think we put on some good shows, and then Gary Apple took over for him, and no, it was awesome. I never saw myself doing TV. If you look back on when I was playing all those videos of the Mets and all this stuff, I was the guy that, oh yeah, I'll be right back. You'd go, hey, I said, yeah, I'll be right back. Gone.
Yeah.
You'll never see me in those because I'm like, I don't want to do this.
What about books? Like Ron Darling has a book, and then everyone has a book. And I know you wrote an article I once read. You wrote for one of the local papers. But is there a book in you think about your life and trying to help other people through your experiences?
There is a novel as we speak that I'm writing.
That's very nice.
No.
I had
And
no
it's,
idea.
yeah, I'm on it. I'm committed to it. And I'm loving it because now I refer to him as my guy. He's like this little guy.
Yeah.
And I can take him wherever I go. Now, obviously, you write about what you know and what you're familiar with, unless you're brilliant like some of these people can write about, I don't know what. So I'm writing about a young guy fighting his way to try to make it in baseball.
Ah.
But this is
In
what
baseball,
I know.
right?
In
It's
baseball,
It's
yeah.
not a memoir.
It's not a memoir.
But
and
based on some
yeah,
of your
some of my
stories.
experiences, but the beauty of it is I can take it. I said, well, this really happened, but this is where I'm going because this
So
is kind of what I
how
wanted
much
to
of a story is done?
I would say, if realistically, I've probably been working on it for 5 years,
Gotcha.
but I've actually fully committed, and I have tons of papers and stuff
I can
over
help
the
you with
years. Well, I've jumped in and fully committed. I would say I'll have it done easily within the year, maybe
wow.
6 months.
Is any of the stories?
I don't know if I'm
stories
gonna buy it,
is there any stories in the book that based on what in real life, like things that happen?
Oh yeah,
Like
yeah.
the guy's cutting his hedges.
Yeah.
and
He's not in the book.
That guy's not in there.
No, because then I can take it to a certain point, and I'm not going to take it all the way.
Right.
Take it to a certain point, and then wrap it up and kind of leave it sort of like an unfinished story. And then if it somehow, does well and sells, then then look what Johnny did after that. Whatever I named the guy.
Now, an interesting thing about this show is, so this food is amazing. It's healthy. The onion rings are, people who are non-vegans come with me here all the time, and the burgers are great. How important was food back in the 80s when you guys were working? Were there any of the players who said, "Oh, we got to eat a healthy regimen"? That's kind of changed in the world now.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Players now, they have health coaches and all that kind of stuff.
We were like, what can we do to really hurt our bodies? Can it some drugs? Yeah. Give me some booze. Yeah. Cheeseburgers during the game? Yeah. Hot dogs in L.A., the Dodger dogs? Give me 3 before we kick off.
Right. Did you have people bring them down to the bullpen?
Yes.
Yeah, I'm sure that happened.
Yeah, it was no, there was no, let me make myself better by eating better.
Yeah. Well, this food is pretty good. I want you to try some.
I'm in.
Yeah, these onion rings are amazing. Well, onions are they're vegetables. And,
well, 3 of my daughters are vegetarian.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah, they're vegetarians.
And if they come.
So if you go out with them, do you eat vegetarian food?
No.
Of course not.
No, I'll bring a sack of Hardee's.
Yeah. Come on, hurry
White
on down to
Castle and
Hardee's.
stuff.
So a couple of things that that are always been rumors. One is the electric hedge clippers. People would say, was that true that you did cut your hand on the hedge clippers? I never asked you that. I thought about that.
It's true.
Said careful.
I certainly wish it was a more dramatic story.
Right.
But it's not. It was just a guy doing, every now and then we do dumb stuff.
Right.
That was one of my shining moments as far as dumb stuff. But it happens, and then what are you going to do?
Right.
There's nothing
All
to
right,
do.
just to know that it happens from the person who it happened to. One other story, Kevin Mitchell is famous that he was, he's denied it on television. They said he was in the locker room during Game 6 and he was making phone calls to change his flight, which is weird because, what's his face? I'm telling you.
Oh, nice.
Awesome.
And this is not a cheese, but we make it here.
Beautiful.
Pretty good.
I mean, that's really good.
So Kevin Mitchell was like naked, and they said we need you to go bat in this inning, and then and they said that he was on the phone, making flight arrangements. What's the guy, Weissman or something? He's the guy who does all the travel for you guys or whatever.
Oh, back in the day.
Yeah.
I forgot his name.
Okay. Richmond, that's it. Okay. So Kevin Mitchell said recently on television, no, I wasn't making flight arrangements. The game's going on. Richmond does the flight arrangements for us. If I needed to change my flight, he would change it for me.
Right.
And I came out there, and he was instrumental in that comeback in Game 6. Do you know any of the story about Mitchell?
I know all the real stories, and 90% of the stories out there are not true.
Interesting.
Everybody is I played with a room full of egomaniacs. I mean, they're not going to, their egos won't fit in here, and the egos are invisible. Their egos won't fit in here.
Right.
Everybody wanted to be the hero. Everybody wanted to be the star in their recollections of the time. And I would hear these guys telling these stories, and I'm like, what is this guy?
I was there.
He's a liar. I mean, just straight up lying, and nobody calls him on it because, I played with some guys who were just narcissistic, compulsive lying people. And every story, we could have a story like this, like, man, the other day I was at my home. Elton John came over. He said, hey, what's up? You guys want to have lunch? I'm like, okay. And I'll get, oh, no, that's great. But the other day, Mick Jagger and the band were at my house, and they came in, and he wanted to make me lunch. And then, then he said, can you sing on my album? It's like, dude, come on. Yeah. So we had a lot.
So now
of that.
you looking back at yourself, do you think it was the same, or were you different? What made you different?
I was just wanted to be who I was, what I was, and the story is what it was. Back in the day,
so you could control your ego at the time. You think?
Yeah, I mean, we all have them because it's actually a little defense mechanism.
I see. Yeah.
You have to kind of. I didn't belong in the big leagues. I mean, I signed for $500 a ticket to Elmira, and I was.
And what was that like going from the
So
West
when you
Coast
say
to
you
Elmira?
didn't belong, but you made yourself belong out all.
Yeah, I just bullshitted myself.
Right, so back to being lying. What was it like going to upstate New York from the West Coast?
Not bad at all. Because I was a little kid from a little town. I mean, I was 19 or whatever.
Which was your number for the Mets?
No, it was I remember committing to, as I've said, this is kind of how I am. I committed to like, you know what? I've never worked out. I never did any of that stuff because I was just good enough to show up and I play. I'm good enough. I'm just a good athlete. And then I signed, and even though it was $500, which was nothing then either, and I said, you know what? I'm gonna work out. I'm gonna be the best I can. I'm gonna not drink for a little bit, and not smoke, and a lot of things I love to do, and just committed to it. And it sort of made me stronger mentally. I don't know if it helped me,
But the fact that you made
but it
an
helped
attempt.
me. Yeah, I said, if I fail, I'm failing trying. I got my heart in this. And when you got your heart in something and fail, man, you wear that one. You're like, man, I failed. I got to be honest. I just failed. If you have that.
Instead of looking at it like, well, at least I tried and I gave it my best.
Or going very cavalier, like, I don't care how I do, which what I always did as a kid. But I would do good, but I never worked at it because there was safety in just being
I didn't try.
cavalier. I could have, but I didn't want it. Once I signed, I go, okay,
You gotta put the work in.
take the net
Just
away.
like with the SNY show, you said, you realize I got to go in early and I got to work out. And I got to, be part of every part of this, which is really important.
I loved it.
And when Eddie gave me materials to prepare, I saw that some of the seasons were not really good for you, right? So how did you go back and kind of made yourself go and work on it again, and finally you succeeded? Like, I saw that some of the seasons were not
When I
really
was doing
great,
the
right?
show?
No, when you were doing
As a
your
player.
baseball career, yeah.
As a player, you there's reality. You just know you're not going to win them all. I know that cliche is so dumb, but you're really not. You're gonna win some, you lose some, and what you got to do is always try to keep your emotions in check. And again, that's where you lie to yourself, because if you're all over the map, maybe some guys can function like that. I can't. I'd had a crappy game. I'm not watching the news. I'm not reading the paper.
Right.
I have a good game. I'm up at 6 a.m. reading, I'm so good, I'm so great.
Nowadays, you can just finish the game and go right into the locker room.
Oh,
and
God,
read
look at the
about it
tweets.
yourself.
You suck.
And we're talking about other people who are never pitchers giving their opinion on pitching.
Love it.
It's like if I asked you how I can do stand-up, or Vlad said, how can you make it delicious on
Yeah,
your
let me
own?"
hop back there and tell you how to make this.
Right.
No, there's guys, and when I do watch the game, it's in a bar or at home with the sound off. Because
You don't need anybody's opinion about the game, right?
I know, there's not many of them. I have a really good grasp of the game. I just do. And you hear some of these guys, and I don't want to name anybody.
Right. We talked about some names, but not
Yeah.
necessarily.
It's just like, oh my God, this guy is talking to a lot of people out there, and he couldn't be more like
Wrong, right?
from Mars, trying to explain this to these people. And people at home, in their defense, are like, wow, that's really cool.
Yeah.
And then the guys who know the game are like, what are you talking about, man?
What if a guy like Smoltz talks on television?
I like him.
Yeah.
I like him.
I like him too.
100%. He is, as far as baseball goes, he might be the only one that I enjoy listening to. It's like when I watch golf, because I'm old, I watch golf now, and I watch Nick Price.
Right.
I'll sit there and listen, because he'll tell me stuff. I'm like, wow, I didn't know that. I did not know that. And he says it in a way that's not, negative and angry, and he's not talking down to these guys, because he's been in that field of play.
Right.
He hasn't just read about flying an airplane, he's flown an airplane. And so when there's so much girth and teeth and weight behind what he says. I love it. I wish baseball would do more of that. I think football does a good job at it, but I think
In
baseball.
what way? How does football, do you think?
Well, you got Troy Aikman.
Right.
When he talks, like, okay. And they brought, who's the guy with the
Romo.
He'll tell, I don't want you to predict the play, because whatever, you may
But
be
he's
right,
good
you may
at
be wrong.
predicting the play.
He's good at it, but he tells you stuff like, he doesn't talk over your head. He's talking, let me explain this to you. Here's what they're thinking right here. I'm like, okay. And the guys who know the least about the game try to complicate it with big words and convoluted sentences. The real guys understand I have to explain it to you. In
It's
order to
dynamic,
explain it
yeah.
to you, you can explain to me how to cook this. You can explain to me how to do. You really have to understand it to be able to convey it to me. Don't try to BS me with a bunch of words and a bunch of.
Well, that's what you had to do with SNY. You know, you're a pitcher and you're talking about pitching. And there was a time when they would cut into the game and talk to you.
Mm-hmm.
And did you feel pressure in that? Because
No,
that's good.
no. They really had no idea what they were getting when they signed me
Yeah.
at all, and I didn't know what I was going to be. I never wanted to do it ever. I like being anonymous. I like
Good
blending
thing
in.
you're on the show.
That's why he's writing a novel, not a autobiography, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Speaking of that, you know, I don't know if you want to talk about this, and but there, you know, Ronnie Darling, your old buddy down in
Oh.
the Houston fight, he wrote a memoir, and there's all this controversy, Dykstra and Strawberry.
Oh, I know. They all deserve each other, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a fan of somebody never having said anything before and all of a sudden dropping a racist bomb on somebody
Right.
who's largely mentally challenged now because of all the stuff he did, talking about Lenny. To drop that, it's like, how? You really need to sell an extra 3
How
books?
does it help anything, right?
Yeah, I mean, come on, man. First of all, I don't think it was true. I certainly never heard anything like that. But are you that much of a bum that you got to kick your old teammate when he's a mess?
Like self-serving.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I'm working on memoirs, a book, and all the positive, incredible things that have happened in my life. And a lot of publishers are like, well, we really want you to tell us some behind-the-scenes dirt.
The dirt.
And I go, well, you're not going to get that. I mean, it's not worth it. Why? What kind of a human would do that and spread the dirt so you can sell 3 extra books?
Right. Well, I think you can spread some dirt because it is fun and it is funny. I love the dirt.
Right.
But that's not dirt when you label somebody a racist. That's not dirt.
No.
That's a personal, ugly attack. And it's funny how nobody else heard it.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's
That's
a judgment too.
Yeah, I like dirt.
Yeah. Everyone
Look at my
does
little
with
novel
gossip.
I'm doing. Yeah, we all love
Right.
that. But then there's
But why hurt
just
somebody?
self-serving. Yeah.
Especially in this climate, it's almost like a verdict,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
And it can
yeah.
become viral, and then you can't even. And what was possibly somebody's opinion now becoming a knowledge for everybody, and
Yeah.
it's like a statement: this person is a racist, and when it was just one assumption that was said somewhere, right?
Right,
Yeah,
and that's
no,
the whole
exactly.
Nobody
thing.
remember where it started.
Right. And you can just create drama out of nothing.
Oh my God.
Not my create it did create drama.
Right.
Right.
You're right. Well, you know, we're going to take a break, but when we come back, I want to tell people how we met and some of the funny moments. I don't know if you'd be embarrassed, but I hope you will be. We're going to cut. We have a
That's
break.
where the dirt comes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I got some dirt
I
here
thought you
for
were going to tell the dirt.
No, and it's not dirt. It was clean, completely clean. But I'll dirty it up for you.
That's funny.
We're going to cut over to our friend Rachel Atcheson, our dear friend who has some news you can use. Rachel?
Thanks so much, guys. This is Rachel Atcheson with OG Talks News You Can Use. Have you ever wanted to be a vegan runner representing veganism? Well, Strong Hearts Vegan Power is a team that focuses on spreading the news of vegan athleticism. If you thought that you needed to eat meat to be a strong athlete, this team is defying that myth. Check out Strong Hearts Vegan Power. They focus on running Ragnars across the country. Now, Ragnars, for those who are not plugged into the athletic world, are a 30 to 35 hour run. You have 2 vans, 12 people per team, 6 people per van. They leapfrog 3 times, and you're stuck in a van with 6 other people the whole time. But the good news is you're eating vegan food. Strong Hearts Vegan Power, check them out. This is Rachel Atcheson with OG Talks News You Can Use.
Thanks, Rachel. As always, we love you and we appreciate your hilarity. No, it's not hilarious. It's smart and just like you are. And thank you very much. All right, so I forgot the actual year, but I'm in line to go to the movies in Boston. I'm working in Boston at a comedy club, Nick's Comedy Stop, and with a friend of mine, and we're in line. We're going to go see a movie. It was a Harrison Ford film.
What was the movie?
The movie was where he was It was an espionage. I think Gene Hackman was in it.
Love Gene Hackman.
Yeah. Oh, Gene Hackman. You know, I used to have a joke in my act, and it was like, you know, and it's a true thing that happened. I had a dream with Gene Hackman. So I wrote a joke. I said I had a dream with Gene Hackman. I said I tried to get Robert De Niro, but he wanted too much money. But I got a 3-dream deal with Hackman: 2 afternoon naps and a nightmare. And not brilliant or anything, but he heard the joke and loved it. And to me, it thrilled my whole life that Hackman heard my joke. So we're in line for this movie, and some people at home will know. And you guys, you and Ellen, your lovely wife and my friend, who I ran into her in an elevator in North Carolina. The door's open. It's like, ladies and gentlemen, your friend Ellen. It's like, what? What are you doing here? What are you doing here? So you're in front of us, and I go, oh my God, that's Bobby Ojeda. You know, I'm a Mets fan. Mets won the World Series on my birthday in '69. You got one of these from 1986.
Wow.
Very lovely.
So nice.
And
That's nothing.
yeah, nothing. So so you know, just had.
All right, this is really nothing.
So I said to you said something like, hey, I've seen you on TV and you're pretty good. And I go, I've seen you on TV and you're pretty good. And we started talking before we went to the film. And we invited you to our show. We had a couple of shows the next night. And you said, great, you know, it's my wife's birthday tomorrow. Why don't you be our guest at the game? So we have, and you're pitching against Clemens this day. And so we get there, and we're having Ellen's here, and we're having a little cake before the game. I'm sitting next to Sandy Alomar Sr., and I speak Spanish, or spoke it pretty well, and I'm having some of the greatest conversations of all. I'm such a baseball fanatic. My father was a baseball player with Sandy Alomar, and we're enjoying the cake and Ellen, and we're just all getting along really well. So afterwards at night, you bring another couple with you, and the 4 of you come to the show, and it's a good show. And I didn't want to tell the audience that you were there to keep your anonymity. After the show was over, you were very kind and genuine and generous to everyone there. And then you said,
that's the guy I am.
Who you are, you know. And you said, we want to go dance. So we walk you over to this place around the corner on Tremont Street. And I go, so nice to meet you guys. Thank you for the game. Thanks for everything. You go, where you going? I go, I have another show. You go, another show? I go, yeah, like a double header. You know, we have a second game. So you go, screw this. We're going to go back. We're going to watch the show. Then we're going to go out and dance. So you go back in, and they serve alcohol in the comedy clubs. And you guys are enjoying a fine cocktail or two. And then we go to this place to dance. And then after it's over, we go to another place, Daisy Buchanan's, the famous Daisy Buchanan's. Yeah. And we're all falling down. We're completely hammered, all of us, and trying to hold each other up. But you were drinking a little bit more than I was. And Ellen said, can you help me get Bobby? Because you're like, I want another club. And we're in Boston. They closed the bars at 1:30. Like, another drink. No, that wasn't you. I made that up. That's the dirt I made up. So I actually carry you over my shoulder and bring you into your hotel room. And I bring you into your room.
I was lighter then.
You're much lighter. And I was stronger and younger. And then Ellen said, Eddie, can you help me get Bobby into the bed? He's on the floor. And I get in there, and you're naked on the floor. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to touch this guy. But I lift you up, and I put you in the bed. And you told me, are you ever going to tell that story? Well, this is the first time I'm telling that story.
Oh, good.
And I bring you, and then you're in the bed, and I hang out with Ellen and her friends, and we have a nice evening. And then I don't see you guys again for a long time, but I have this incredible story. I had naked Bobby Ojeda in my arms, and which is the name of my book. By the way, Naked Bobby Ojeda in My Arms. And it's a song I'm also writing at the same time.
Great.
So years later, I know the year, this one is 94, and I'm doing a show in Hollywood, Florida, where I went to high school, and you guys were in the audience at the show.
I remember that.
And afterwards, you know, it was in February of 94, and you're with the Yankees now.
Well.
And you're in spring training, and my father, who was a huge baseball player, fan, you let me bring him down to the Yankee spring training area, and he meets Mattingly and Boggs, and it was pretty good. My father was very, you know, proud of me, but he really loved that he got to meet those guys.
That's cool.
And all that stuff. So we've known each other a long time, and we really appreciate that you came down to our show here. The food's not bad, right?
The food is awesome. I mean, I'm not just saying that because you're here and you're Russian.
But it's still good.
But you're both those things. Right. No, it is amazing. Like I said, I got 3 daughters. A couple of them have lived in this area. I'm sure they've been here.
Yeah.
So, you know, it really is amazing.
And we'll make sure they come back and get treated really well.
Yeah.
I love you. You're my brother. We've been to each other's birthday parties. We've.
I mean, for God's sake, you carried him
Carried me
naked.
I
naked.
carried him naked.
Yeah.
The weird thing is, I started getting naked.
Oh, but that's a season number 3.
Yes.
And if you didn't
There was
notice, we're still talking about vegan food and its effect on the body.
Yeah, it's naked inside. No, it's such
And then there was a
pleasure.
bubble bath thing, but let's leave
Yeah,
that.
it's a whole.
Oh,
other-
wow.
that's a
You
different
got me
show.
Leave that
going
alone.
That's
now.
the second novel.
Leave that alone.
Yeah. But it's a pleasure. I love you,
All
brother.
right, buddy. I love
Thanks
you
for
too.
coming
You
by.
got it.
Thank you so
Pleasure to
much.
meet you, and thank you. Food's amazing.
You folks, if you had a good time, we're glad. If you had a bad time, fuck
If you want to
you.
know
No.
what's gonna happen in this season 3, please subscribe, rate, review,
Review.
and
Please review what you thought of this episode. Thanks for watching Organic OG Talk at the Organic Grill. For Vlad and for Bobby, I'm Eddie Brill. Have a
thank
good
you
one.
very much. Thank you.